Imagine your home turning against you. The very walls you trust for shelter begin to scratch at you. Strange and foul odors appear with no source, and a dark, malevolent presence seems hell-bent on tearing your family apart. This is the harrowing story of the Smurl Haunting, a chilling case that held a Pennsylvania family in its terrifying grip for over a decade. But was it truly the work of demonic forces, a siege from the darkest corners of the supernatural? Or was it the tragic, devastating unraveling of a family cracking under immense pressure? The story begins in 1973, when Jack and Janet Smurl, along with their 2 young daughters, moved into a duplex on Chase Street in West Pittston, Pennsylvania. It seemed like a fresh start, a normal home for a normal family. But the normalcy wouldn't last. At first, the disturbances were small, easy to dismiss. A light bulb that flickered erratically, a television that would suddenly blare static, or an appliance that would turn on and off by itself. They were strange, sure, but explainable. Or so they thought. These were just the quiet beginnings, the calm before a storm that would consume their lives. They tried to rationalize it, faulty wiring, old appliances, but deep down, a sense of unease began to creep in. The house didn't feel right. It felt watchful. Soon, the minor glitches gave way to something far more sinister. The activity escalated, becoming impossible to ignore. Dark, tar-like stains began to ooze down the walls and onto the carpets, disappearing as mysteriously as they appeared. A deep, chilling cold would settle in certain rooms, even on the warmest summer days. The family started hearing things, whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, and violent, percussive pounding that would shake the entire house, rattling the windows in their frames. Then came the physical manifestations. Family members would find angry, red scratches on their skin, appearing from thin air, as if an invisible animal had raked its claws across them. The family dog was thrown against a wall. The unseen presence was no longer just making noise. It was becoming aggressive. It wanted to hurt them. Fear, which had been a quiet guest, now became a permanent resident in the Smurl home. The haunting then crossed a line into outright assault. The entities, which the family now believed to be demonic, began to target them physically and psychologically in the most horrific ways. Jack Smurl reported being viciously attacked by an invisible force, dragged from his own bed in the middle of the night. He even made the terrifying claim that he was sexually assaulted by a grotesque, succubus-like entity. His wife, Janet, experienced her own horrors. She described being levitated, lifted from her bed and held powerless in the air while a cold presence tormented her. The children were not spared either. They saw shadowy figures and were subjected to the relentless psychological warfare that had taken over their home. The family was living in a constant state of terror, prisoners in a house that was actively trying to destroy them. This is the haunting version of the story, a brutal account of a family under siege by supernatural evil. Desperate and terrified, the Smurls finally reached out for help. They turned to Ed and Lorraine Warren, the world-famous paranormal investigators known for their work on other notorious cases, including the Amityville Horror. After investigating the home, the Warrens came to a chilling conclusion. The Smurl family wasn't just dealing with a simple ghost. They declared that the house was infested by not 1, but 4 powerful spirits, including a demon that was orchestrating the torment. The Warrens conducted multiple exorcisms and blessings, claiming to engage in direct spiritual warfare with the entity. Their involvement brought national attention to the case, and the Smurls' story became the basis for books, articles, and a made-for-TV movie called The Haunted. For many, the Warrens' confirmation cemented the Smurl case as one of the most well-documented and terrifying demonic hauntings in American history. But as with any sensational story, there's another side. Skeptics began to pick apart the Smurls' claims, painting a very different picture. They pointed out a glaring inconsistency. The family described a home filled with violent, constant, and loud paranormal activity, yet their neighbors who lived in the other half of the very same duplex reported hearing and seeing absolutely nothing out of the ordinary. Psychologists proposed alternative explanations. The Smurl family was under significant financial strain. Jack had been unable to work after a serious operation, and the stress of their situation, combined with deep-seated religious beliefs, could have created a fertile ground for what is known as a shared delusion or folie à deux. Could the unexplained events have been misinterpretations, hallucinations, or even false memories, all amplified by the intense pressure the family was under? Critics also took aim at the Warrens, accusing them of being sensationalists who exploited the family's distress to further their own fame and careers, much as they had been accused of doing with the Amityville case. This is the Skeptics theory, a story not of demons, but of desperation. Diving deeper into the psychological perspective, some researchers and critics argue that the most disturbing claims, specifically the demonic sexual assaults reported by Jack, may not be evidence of a supernatural succubus, but rather a manifestation of profound psychological trauma. In this view, the demon becomes a metaphor, a way for the mind to process and externalize unbearable internal conflicts, stress, or even suppressed personal issues. It's a way to give a face to an invisible anguish. When a person feels powerless, violated by circumstances beyond their control, like financial ruin or debilitating health problems, the psyche can sometimes create a narrative of a physical, external attacker. It transforms abstract suffering into a concrete enemy. This doesn't make the experience any less real or terrifying for the person living it, but it shifts the source from the paranormal to the deeply personal, a haunting from within rather than from without. So we are left with two parallel truths, two starkly different realities that exist side by side. On one hand, you have the haunting version. The Smurl family endured one of the most violent and terrifying demonic infestations of modern times, a relentless assault by forces beyond human comprehension. They were victims of a pure, malevolent evil. On the other hand, you have the version rooted in skepticism and psychology. The family were victims of immense stress, financial hardship, and perhaps the power of suggestion, all amplified and exploited by paranormal investigators looking for their next big case. Their story becomes a cautionary tale of hysteria, a haunting fueled not by demons, but by the very human struggles of life. Was their home a gateway to hell, or a pressure cooker of psychological distress? The duplex on Chase Street still stands today. Other families have moved in and lived there since the Smurls left, and notably none of them have reported any supernatural activity. The house has returned to being just a house. Yet, the legend of the Smurl Haunting persists. It remains a fixture in the annals of paranormal lore, a chilling story that forces us to question the very nature of reality. It is a powerful reminder of how thin the line can be between a genuine haunting and mass hysteria, between a demonic attack and a human breakdown. The echoes of the Smurls' terror still linger, not in the walls of the house, but in the unsettling questions their story leaves behind. Which truth do you believe? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the mysteries that lie on the edge of belief, make sure to subscribe for more parallel truths. Thanks for watching.